My name's Bryant Baird. I'm an educator at Glendale Middle School. I teach grades 6, 7, and 8, mostly English language learners, and I've been teaching for 28 years. My experience during COVID-19 has been interesting, frustrating, and a huge learning curve. It has challenged most of what I know about teaching and learning. The main challenges for me have been helping students immediately, helping them to access materials through learning platforms and different computer programs, and managing all of their coursework. What surprised me the most is that I needed them more than they needed me. And what I would do differently is standardize things, make everything look similar to make it easier for students and parents to access coursework. What I need in the future is I need to plan, 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 and replan, explore a variety of ways to teach, be flexible, be teachable, and imagine myself as a learner.
My name is Vivian Schell. I teach math at Salt Lake Center for Science Education, and I've been teaching for 22 years in the Salt Lake City School District. My experiences as an educator during remote learning can be characterized as intense innovation driven by student and teacher needs. What challenged me the most was finding ways to maintain engagement with my students and to help them read the world through mathematics. What I need are opportunities to work with other teachers to plan and develop curriculum that can be effective for students online.
My name is Megan Robinson. I am an educator at Escalante Elementary. I have been teaching first grade for 5 years. Teaching during the pandemic was really hard emotionally and mentally for me. I had consistent contact with half of my students. I find my joy and happiness by being with my students, and when that wasn't an option anymore, I had to find new ways to show them I was still there for them, whether that was me showing up at their door with a small gift or meeting them outside to draw with sidewalk chalk. I learned the importance of strong relationships and relying on colleagues to get us through the difficult times, and I need adequate planning time and time to meet with colleagues to support students academically and emotionally in the future.
My name is Victoria Morrow, and I teach science at Northwest Middle School. This is my 6th year teaching science. The biggest challenge that I faced during the COVID closures was teaching really felt like it had no direction or support for staff, students, or families. Challenges were things like maintaining relationships with students and families and allowing that to drive student engagement. It was really hard for me to get in touch with families, and 2/3 of my students just didn't even access our platform. I really learned the value of getting families on board, and I'm excited to use more strategies to engage them in the future. But really, the main takeaway for this past year and moving forward is that relationships are vital. And if I don't get to see my students at the beginning of next school year and build those relationships with them, we're sunk. If I lost 2/3 of my students and I had had them for 6 months, not getting that face-to-face time is going to make educating really hard. So I am looking to my school and my district to come out with a consistent plan that helps support students, families, and educators and allows us to build those meaningful relationships that are going to create good learning opportunities that will support our students through this school year.
My name is Shay Wickelson, and I've been a secondary science teacher for 17 years. I think that something that was really eye-opening about teaching during the COVID was just the vast differences in the experience of my students, not only how real the digital divide is, but all sorts of other divides, students who are at home just sort of bored versus students who were taking care of 5 younger siblings versus students who were getting a job to support their family because some of their family members had lost jobs. And trying to understand all of those different experiences, I think, is one of the big challenges, but I also think it's one of the things that we need to really invest a lot of time and energy in. And so I think that we need, totally second what Victoria said, we need some in-person time to maintain connections and relationships with students. We need some in-person time for sure. I think we also need lots of different teams, like teams where teachers are responsible to really try to stay connected to a specific group of students, and where students are teamed up with other students who are having more success, and where teachers are teaming together to understand those different relationships.
Thank you. My name is Jeremy Reynoso, and I am a kindergarten teacher in my school district. I've been teaching now for 5 years. This is going to be my 6th year. The challenges that I had teaching during this pandemic was first noticing that the struggle and equity for all my students in access and in support. I also really had a real struggle with feeling that the model that I had of distance learning was developmentally inappropriate for my students. I didn't feel like it was providing the right skill building that I normally do in person with the social skills that are necessary for being prepared for first grade. So what I hope that I get out of this, what we can to help do it better, I think we need more of a plan from the district. We need to have more communication, but we need more communication all around so that there's an elevation of our profession, in that teachers talk to teachers, that teachers talk with families, and families communicate their needs to us and our district, and we all work together that way. Like has been said before, we need those relationships. It all depends on that. And so yeah, we also just need the support that allows us to be creative and find those solutions.
My name is Rebecca Richardson. I'm an educator at East High School. I teach English language learners, English language arts, and mainstream English language arts. I've been teaching for 15 years. My experience teaching during the COVID soft school closure was painful. And a lot of that pain was based in an overall feeling of helplessness. I struggled to find effective ways to communicate with students and their families. And it became more apparent to me than ever that our students are living in a world of inequities. Something that I learned is that I alone as a teacher do not have the skills and the strength to go ahead and diminish all of these barriers that are faced in front of my students. And that was part of the pain I experienced as well. I think something we can do differently is we can reimagine education. This is an opportunity for us as educators to move forward and rethink what our relationships with communities look like, what our relationships with each other look like, and what our relationship with pedagogies looks like. And I believe that we have an opportunity to be more fluid and more dynamic. But what I need greater communication. I need more education. And I also need an opportunity to brainstorm with not only colleagues, but community members about resources available and how they can be utilized to best support people that we have been given the responsibility to educate. And so I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to change, and that this is a chance to act in but it's like a revolution, right? We can change. And we now more than ever see the inequities. So now more than ever, we need to work towards those changes.
And when we have outside support, when we have other professionals, and we all come together as a community, I think that's going to make the biggest change, and that's going to be the biggest support.
Yeah, I think piggybacking off of what Jeremy said, I think that we really need to find ways to bring in the voices and the talents of the community, and what is needed from me in order to go ahead and create that bridge that enables students and families to have greater access to education.
So I think I just wanted to I think the Glendale Mountain View CLC community did a great job of coming back to making sure that the families had the things they needed: food, shelter, money, clothing. And so I think whoever got on early, the district provided meals. You could get 3 meals a day at our school. You could also come by and get food if you needed it. One of our community leaders, she rode her bicycle around and delivered things to people. And I think, what you guys said, taking that and making sure that we as teachers are more involved in that process, I think would help build those relationships more deeply with the community. I know, and I mentioned this earlier in my group, but our school did a parade, and the parade was great for me as a teacher, but what it also did as the neighborhood is not only did the kids come out, but the older people, the elderly people were out cheering and clapping and excited to see people. Um, and I just think, those types of things, whoever did that reimagined it very quickly. And I think we just need to keep building on that as teachers and become more involved. And I think that would help with the relationships, help with the community, and ways that we as teachers could help.